There's someone by the name of, I think you know him, Van Jones, who appears frequently on CNN. He went to a podcast over the weekend and they were asking him, why is it that you think that Donald Trump was really able to pull this off? And ultimately, he said it comes down to the fact that he was able to secure this cultural movement, which I think is really true. But it wasn't just Trump. If you think about it, you had to have a whole bunch of things in play, which is this wokeism from the left, which was taking off in a really effectively negative way for the rest of the population, as well as, a few other things that were problematic. And I think all of these things contributed, frankly, to a scenario in which Donald Trump only was going to succeed. He was going to be the victor in that environment. Let's play you this. This is Van Jones speaking about that.
How the hell did Donald Trump figure out the mainstream media is the fringe and the fringe is now the mainstream? How the hell did Donald Trump figure out? I mean, Joe Rogan is obvious, right? Like, we knew the guy had a big audience. It's not like we were stunned, but how the hell was he, the 78-year-old guy who doesn't even have a computer and still writes handwritten notes? How did he become the guy who cracked the code on, to your point, running a cultural, I don't even want to say campaign, running
it was a movement.
Heading a cultural movement versus a campaign.
Every one of your people knows Elon. Listen. Yeah. So everybody keeps, the problem is you have a framework in your mind that, how can Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
The popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime, and we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary people.
You're totally right.
Yeah, you are. You guys do look like idiots. You really do. I mean, you tried. Letitia James is out there still looking like an idiot because she's still trying to somehow secure nearly $500 million in a fine against him for a quote-unquote crime in which you have no victim, in which everybody made money. I mean, he keeps walking away from this stuff. He is made of Teflon because they don't have anything on him, and he's willing to fight back. I mean, I think that's the difference is, you look at how Donald Trump has reacted to all of these things. He's willing to stand up for himself, and he's willing to stand up for the people, and there's something really genuine and important in that. And so that's how he's really created this movement. It's not like there were a bunch of TikTokers out there or people on X or other mediums that were willing to just make stuff for Kamala Harris. She had to pay for all of her social media because people didn't feel that way about Kamala. They didn't feel like she was willing to walk into battle for them any day of the week. No, Kamala was willing to do something for herself. She was willing to take your money and spend it on her friends. And that, I think, really gets at fundamentally the difference and the problem. Heck, I mean, that's partly why you have so much inflation, because they were spending money on their friends. I mean, what do you think the whole giant Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, we wish her well, by the way, she broke her hip over there in Luxembourg, so we wish her well. But what do you think that was about? They were just getting these boondoggle projects in all their various places by printing more money, your taxpayer money, and then the Fed printing. I mean, this was a nightmare. This was exactly what you would expect inflation to come about when you have these kinds of mistakes being made and the politicians in charge. So enough.